Okay, yeah, this is happening for third time. What you're seeing here has been going on since 2008. This year, for the third time, we're quite happy what we have done. We've got all the major phone brands. We've got all our telcos, the three main telcos. They're all out there somewhere behind there competing away with one another. And but we've also done a lot to bring developers in. There's a whole street called GoMobile App Street. That is basically we brought some developers to show, and all of them are local developers. And as a fun activity, we've set up a phone museum that if you can go there, you'll see very, very old phones. From the very big car phones till this brick phone, the Takei phones, all the way till the 2000. What you're seeing now is actually all the telcos, those who are operating on GSM, which is Maxis, Celcom, Digi and GoMobile. All of them are actually slowly upgrading their networks. Some of them do have HSUPA, some of them have HSDPA. Their speeds are becoming faster. For example, GoMobile, 2 weeks ago I think, they just set up one particular site which is in Times Square, which gets you 42 Mbps. It's very fast, and you can almost do almost anything currently with 42 Mbps speed. So they are becoming faster. If you ask me to say, I would say they are no longer 3G, they are 3.5G now, and that's what you're going to see in the future. Yeah. If you want to be very precise about it, there's no technology that can call themselves 4G right now, because the ITU, the International Telecommunications Union, they are the ones who set the standards, and they haven't set a 4G standard yet. What they have done is they've said that they are working towards a 4G standard. They've revised it a bit, and they said they're working towards a 4G standard, which as a minimum will give 100 Mbps speed when you travel. So that's very fast. None of them really can do it now on a commercial basis. So they're working towards the standard. They will only finalize the standard about a year from now. And when they finalize the standard, you can expect manufacturers to come out with things about 2 or 3 years from now. So that's really 4G. Of course, when someone has a bit faster speed than what they have now, they're calling it 4G. But precisely, if you say technically, they can't call it 4G. All right? They can just actually, my view, they're actually 3.5, 3.75G, but they're not 4G. Well, I think the infrastructure providers are realizing that they need to get speeds up faster. It's not an issue that can be dealt with by just one party. For example, you can't tell a telco, hey guys, your speed is slow, a lot of pings here and there and all that. That's mainly because the back end is not in the hands of sometimes the telco. Right? They have to work with other parties to up all the level, all the way to international gateway, for example. So it's something that has to be tackled on a whole, and I think the industry is realizing that they need to work at getting speeds faster. Quality of service is becoming very important, because you could not make noise a few years ago when you just were trying to download something small and it didn't work so fine. But nowadays, I got to go on Facebook, I got to tweet, I got to play some games, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to complain because I'm paying good money for it. So they are working towards making sure that you get a good experience. There has been improvement. Yesterday at the GoMobile conference, Mr. Coogan, a vice president from Maxis, said that their network, they have spent 4 billion in the last 2 years expanding their network. And many of their sites now all over Malaysia are running on HSDPA and above. So I think you are seeing improvements. They are incremental. Many of the places are seeing improvement. But he also said that they are seriously considering when to launch LTE. In other words, they're going to start looking at LTE technology. LTE technology, my view is 3.5G, but the LTE Advanced will become 4G next time. But LTE will give us very good speeds when they come up with it. And I think you are now seeing the start of a new generation of networks. Next few years, we'll get faster speeds. So I think you can get 2 megabits per second. At some places in KL, we actually ran a test last year, Mobile World magazine, and we tested Celcom, Maxis and Digi, and we found uplink speeds of between 1, 2 and even 3 megabits per second in many of these locations. And what is happening is the only issue now is congestion. You can get those kind of speeds, But if everybody tries at the same time, then the speeds drop. And I think they are working towards it to make sure that you can get speeds. But I think in Malaysia, you can expect at least 1 megabits and above soon, right now, and higher soon. Well, it's very hard for me to say that which one I would choose. But I have a guide that I tell my friends. When you want to choose a network, you need to do two things. One, you need to get the speeds that you want. So some telcos may have it, some may not have it. But you also need to ask around a lot of people who have already used those services, be they WiMAX or be they the telcos, and ask them what kind of quality do you get and do you get constant service. Then I tell the person, always make sure that you check the service in the area that you are going to use it the most. And it's true in Malaysia that any one of those three telcos, there are some places where they're very fast and some places where they're slow. And the other competitor could be faster. So make sure you get it at the place where you want to use it most. For the average user, wireless has become a competitor to fixed line. That's why some of the telcos are now beginning to push broadband to homes, where they tell you that if you use wireless, you can still get good service. So they are actually becoming quite close to wired, and they actually have an advantage in areas where wired is slow. In some areas, wired is actually slow, and you can actually get faster speed from wireless.